Michelle here, and for my card today I'm using this really cute squirrel image from the Friends in the Wood stamp set. This is by Create a Smile, and I'm going to ink it up with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I'm going to first stamp it onto some Inkadinkado stamping mask paper, because I'm going to do a little bit of masking. So then now I've got a piece of white cardstock that I'm going to use as my card panel on the front of my card. So I'm just stamping the little squirrel onto that, and I'm using the Memento ink just because I want a Copic friendly ink. So I've cut out my little squirrel mask here, and then I've also cut out what looks like a little bit of a hillside, just so that I can have the squirrel standing on something. And then I've got a little bit of extra post-it tape just underneath, just to make sure that I don't add any ink anywhere I don't want it. So I'm just peeling the backing off of that mask paper and then adding that on top for the little squirrel. And then I'm going to use some distress inks to make a little bit of a background. This is a technique that Bassen has used quite a bit recently, and I've really enjoyed seeing her kind of one layer cards. And she's been combining ink blending with Copic colouring, and it's something I have to say I've never even thought of before. I tend to just use, if I'm doing backgrounds, I tend to use Copic markers for those, but I really do like the subtle effect of this ink blending. So this is tumbled glass, and I'm just really adding a very small amount onto it. I'm just stamping off first onto a little bit of paper, and then adding that on top with some really kind of light motions there. And then here I'm just taking off the little hillside, just because I want to kind of do the opposite effect and colour in the hillside. So I'm just peeling off the little bit of the squirrel there, placing that back on, and then I'm going to place the top part of the mask paper back on to cover the top portion, which is the sky, so that I can ink blend onto the bottom portion. So just adding that on. I do apologise for my head there. And then I'm just adding a little bit of extra post-it tape, just so that I don't get any ink on the top part. I'm turning it over just because personally I found it a little bit easier to do it that way. And this is the Mode Lawn Distress ink. It's quite a bright colour. So I'm kind of tapping off the excess quite a bit here, and then just very light-handed kind of technique of just ink blending it with small kind of circular motions. And then I'm going to peel away the masks here. And I want more of a defined look, so I'm going to add in my kind of hillside like it would be if you were to stamp it. So I'm using a Copic multi-liner here. This is a 0.3 size. I actually could have done with a little bit kind of bigger nib, I suppose, just because the image itself has got quite strong kind of thick lines, and the Copic multi-liner was a little bit thin, so I went over it a couple of times. I'm peeling away the mask here, and now I'm going to do a little bit of Copic colouring, and I'm going to speed this portion up and let you watch wire colour. So after I'd finished colouring the image in, I wanted to add the sentiment. So this is the I love you sentiment, also from the Friends in the Wood stamp set. And again, I'm inking it up with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. And then I'm going to stamp it next to the little squirrel. And then I wanted the little squirrel to have something to hold, which is a little heart here. And I'm going to use the Memento Love Bug ink, and the heart is from the Underwater Love stamp set, also by Create a Smile. So I've just stamped that in the centre there for the little squirrel to hold. And now I'm going to add this panel onto my card base. So I'm using some ATG here just to add quite a bit of adhesive onto the back. And then I've got a bit of foam sheet here, and I'm just popping that onto the base. And then I'm going to add more ATG onto this so that I can pop it onto the card base. So just popping that on, it gives a little bit of dimension. And then because I wanted the little heart to have a little bit of glossiness to it, I'm just adding a little bit of Pico Embellisher here. Again, I apologise for my head being in the way. And that's the finished card. I hope you've enjoyed watching how I made it, and I will have some photos here to share with you of the finished card. I will have all of the links to the products that I've used in the description bar on YouTube and also on my blog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.